the book review. We have to mention the film. It's not up to you to decide that you're gonna take the foot back.
Hello, it's Editing Hannah here. I'm just gonna preface this video by saying Pooja and I filmed this on Zoom because we didn't meet up in person because there's a pandemic and we're social distancing queens. So we stayed at home and filmed this. Problem is, my camera quality for my computer is less than ideal, and every time that both of us are talking at the same time, my computer decided to only record her voice and just totally ignore my voice. So if you see my mouth moving but you don't hear my voice, it's okay. Just ignore me. I'm probably not saying anything of importance anyways. I was going to add subtitles for what I was saying in those clips, but I don't even know what I'm saying, so we can be clueless together. Now that you know all that, we can go back to the video.
Hello, everybody. This is, I don't know which side you're going to be on in the Zoom. The person next to me is my friend Pooja.
Technical difficulties. Hello, my name is Pooja.
I know I said in my booktube newbie tag, none of my friends read books, so I want to join a community of people who read books. But you know, all my friends didn't read, and I was like a loner who was antisocial and only read.
This is a kind way to introduce me. Okay, but to be fair, Hannah was not lying because she is the one who made me get a Goodreads, and then I started reading again because previous to that, my reading stopped in 7th grade with Harry Potter and Percy Jackson before that. She brought it back, so there we go.
I remember having lunch with you guys and I'd just be like reading. And
yeah, and everyone was like, do you want to socialize at all or
talk to people? And I was like, no, thank you. Good.
Nope.
So Pooja, what types of books do you like to read?
So, according to Hannah, I read YA fiction. According to me, I read books with strangely obvious titles because that means that they have some sort of deep commentary on life in them at some point, which I enjoy. For example, The Sun is Also a Star. Obviously, it is also a star, but why did we name the book that? So that would be my answer.
Bro, what was I gonna ask?
You were gonna start do you like the book?
We need to start with a quick recap of what 5 Feet Apart is.
Oh yeah, you do that one.
Banner across the cover. Like, why does my library have to do me dirty like this?
They really ruined it because it had a really pretty cover too.
It had a really pretty cover with the lungs and the flowers. People 5 feet apart.
Spoiler alert, is that the picture that Abby draws for Stella that she mentions in the first chapter?
The artistic representation of the text.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I never realized that. Also, I might have also not realized that because I read the ebook and my cover was the movie picture,
But in the movie cover, they're not 5 feet apart.
They're not. Their legs are touching because they're just against two walls.
That's not 5 feet apart. Shame on who created the movie.
No idea.
I know Justin Baldoni was because I followed him when he was making the movie, and I was like, okay, I really don't care about you outside of Jane the Virgin, so I ended up following him.
Oh wait, is that the guy who plays Raphael?
Yes, he's the guy who plays Raphael.
He's a director or producer?
I think so, because I remember him promoting it. I don't know.
Something new every day. You know what? This is the book review. We have to mention the film. I feel like we've given more commentary on the film 3 minutes and then we have in the book.
We should talk about the synopsis of the book.
It's me again. When we were doing this on Zoom, I totally ignored the existence of Will and Stella, even though this book was pulled from their perspective. Let's just do a take 2 of the synopsis. 5 Feet Apart is based on this love story between Will and Stella, who are 2 CFers in the same hospital. They're both around the same age, seniors in high school. Stella is more of a type A personality who really wants to get better, but Will is sort of just uninterested in going through treatments because it has been a long road for both of them. However, now that they're in the same hospital, because they're both on the same floor, their paths cross, and it's a love story. Will and Stella fall in love, and that's sort of it.
I guess the first thing I should ask Pooja, because she has a heart and I don't, so I feel like the commentary might be a little bit more relevant, is did you like the book?
I did like the book. I will say on the Goodreads that Hannah made me make, I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. And then after talking to Hannah and realizing that I literally did not know why I rated it 4 out of 5 instead of 5, I figured out that it was because beginning is a little bit of a classic, the good girl who's reckless for only this one guy, and it's just kind of, but it is also still a good book because it is heartfelt, and I had some unexpected parts in this book where I was surprised. Hannah was completely Not surprised, completely expected them and was very, what's the word? Indifferent.
Unlike Pooja, I rated it 2 stars because, oh, it's not horrible, but it's not amazing. I realized that everything she rates pretty highly, I end up feeling very meh about it.
It's always like me thinking it's really good and then you being like, it's never bad, but it's always just like in the middle. Because the same thing happened with The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah, I also rated that 2 stars.
And that's like one of my favorite books of all time.
I was just like, okay, that's a book.
To be fair, I feel like you have better commentary on like why you feel that way. I was just sitting there and I was like, I like this book.
Some books I give, like 5 stars just for fun, even if there's problems that I have with like the text itself. Like if
it's like the way it makes you feel.
It made me feel. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, 5 stars.
Yeah.
This one, it didn't make me feel anything because like this book is designed to make you cry. Like it's a love story, and I was like, oh, okay, kids in love can't relate.
Okay, me either. I think for me, I was thinking about it as, because obviously, like, I don't, date people, but I was thinking of it like COVID. Like, if you did see someone, it was like you were seeing them with masks 6 feet apart. So then now I was trying to imagine what if your entire life was that the one person that like understands what you're going through, the only person who would is like the only person you can't get within 6 feet of. So, or I guess 5 feet. That would be terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still very apathetic about this book. For me, it just didn't hit. I don't know if it's like the book's fault or like emotional wiring in my brain is just off. So
there are other books that can make you feel something like that, but like on a deeper level than this one did.
Okay, when we buddy read All the Right Places, I cried.
Yeah.
But that one, like,
yeah.
Like,
and like I don't like cry with books. Like I didn't cry,
so, like,
which is like saying something because usually it's switched for us.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That one tore me in pieces. I know that's like a horrible representation of like mental health and whatever, but
gosh, this is my pineapple. I filled it up for this so that when I was drinking water, it'd be like, oh, she doesn't just drink water from a hydro flask like a normal teenage girl. She has a pineapple.
We should probably get back to talking about the book.
Yes, we should.
A main portion of this book centers on Will and I almost said Grace, not Will and Grace. Will and Stella's relationship and like how it blossoms. Did you vibe with them or were you like, oh, this isn't for me?
After we got past the whole classic trope thing in the beginning, I actually did really like the way that their relationship was like written because I thought it was really cute and heartfelt and all of that. The only thing that was kind of confusing to me I guess the best way to say it is kind of confusing to me on a scientific level was the whole them making the 5 feet rule. And essentially like they had the same social distancing rules that basically we have to follow now where it's like they're supposed to be 6 feet apart at all times. And then they basically do this thing where they're like, we're going to take back some of that power. And we're going to steal back those 12 inches so that it's 5 feet apart instead of 6 feet apart. They were like, CF has taken so much from us. We want to take this back, which sounds on a metaphoric level. It's like very meaningful to me. But on a scientific level, I just don't understand it. He could literally kill her if she's within 6 feet of him. So like what was the reason to make it 5 feet? They still can't touch.
And not just that, Will, like on multiple occasions, just forgets to wear a mask. They're supposed to wear masks and stay 6 feet apart because it's like double protection.
Yeah.
But then like he barges into her space multiple times without a mask and she's like, okay, you need to back up again.
Also, I wasn't sure if it was like they were supposed to be wearing the masks and being 6 feet apart or if it was they were just supposed to be 6 feet apart because like in the beginning of the book when they meet each other she was wearing like full on gear and like gloves, mask, everything like that. But then as it goes on, it's just like them meeting and she was just wearing like whatever she wants. I don't think that they were wearing masks because I'm pretty sure they were like eating and stuff. So like I was kind of confused on when they just like stopped enforcing all of that or like what they were supposed to be enforcing and it's like she was just being like extra careful at the beginning. I'm still not really sure about that.
I feel like everybody on the CF wing or whatever is supposed to be wearing masks, like even if you don't have CF. I think even though like you don't have CF, you could still pass like different bacterias onto a person. So it's like the whole just maintaining your distance and being safe and everything.
Oh, I thought that it was if you don't have CF, you can get within the 6 feet of another person. I think that it was only if one is CF patient transfers something that they have over to another CF patient, then that could be deadly for them because it would be super, super dangerous. But I think that if it was just like other people like who don't have CF, then you can get within 6 feet of them because they never mentioned anything about Will's friends or their parents having to be 6 feet away from them.
I feel like they still should be wearing a mask. You have to wear masks in order to protect the person with CF.
Now that I think of it, that makes more sense because it's like, wouldn't you still be able to pass something to a CF patient?
Even if you're like have normal healthy lungs.
They never mentioned that in the thing because they're always like, whenever it's people within, like, do you remember at the dinner scene when they were like Will's friends, they all come in, they were like the CF patients were kept a safe distance apart by other people sitting between them.
Yeah. And like they were eating too, because Poe cooked dinner.
I think that the overarching rule is like whether or not you're wearing a mask, the bare minimum is like you have to at least be 6 feet apart. That would be worst case scenario. You better stay at least 6 feet apart. But best case scenario, you're wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart and like all of that stuff.
I feel like this book sort of just skirted around a lot of those like scientific.
They focused more on the metaphoric aspect of we want to take back this foot without realizing just from a scientific perspective, it's like 6 feet is because like you can't transmit things as easily if you're 6 feet apart. So like as soon as you make it 5 feet, you're a lot more vulnerable to be getting that whatever is being trans. That part was a little confusing to me.
Yeah, like Stella, for someone who grew up in the in and out of the hospital, who's like so type A about her medication and everything, you would think that she would know that taking 1 foot back isn't the best move, even though she's like in love with this person.
It kind of goes back to the whole classic trope thing of like the good girl who's like only going to be reckless for like this one guy, where it kind of doesn't even make sense at that point. She's been so careful her entire life. What was the point of taking back the 1 foot? You know, but it doesn't change anything. You still can't touch them. You're just 1 foot closer.
And I feel like it's even more in the movie. Like they just didn't social distance at all.
Yeah, I haven't watched the movie, but I watched the trailer and it doesn't like seem like they really do. I still want to watch the movie though, because the actors, I watched like their YouTube interviews and they seem nice. I mean, obviously they're like good actors, like Cole Sprouse and Haley Lee Richardson, but you know.
Oh, I have a fun fact about Haley Lee Richardson. She's married to the guy who played Michael in Jane the Virgin.
Really?
They're like dating or something like that.
Oh my gosh, wait, that's so cool. I don't like know of anything else. Like, what else has she been in?
I have no idea. You worked out what my next question was. What's my next question?
Okay, we kind of went over favorite character. So there's that one, and there's also Poe's death.
Wait, did we talk about favorite characters?
I don't think we did.
My favorite character was Poe, because he seems like the most sensible one out of all of them, the most relatable. How about you?
My favorite character was also Poe. I feel like he was just I don't know, he just seemed like the most heartfelt, and it's like he really wanted what was best for Stella, but he was also like kind of more realistic, I guess, about the whole Will and Stella thing. Like he didn't stop her, but he did like advise her, be like, you should stay 6, what is it? I don't know if that was after the 5 feet or the 6 feet, but yeah.
The only problem that I had was like with Poe was that he fell into like the gay sidekick, and especially when it came to his death, he died only for her to like be like, oh my god, I want to live, and then she like suddenly became really reckless. Like,
yeah,
like only furthered her story. It didn't really serve him.
Yeah, it was like he was like a good character. Like they never expanded on him more than the fact that he was like basically emotionally unavailable.
Yeah, and he was like, he just went from guy to guy, even though he had a man who loved him. And like,
I need to text my mother back that I cannot talk to her in this moment. That was very well timed. She was like calling me and I was like, mute. Yeah, I don't know. I wish that he had been expanded on more and kind of like given more depth.
Yeah, because like he goes through a lot. Like he hasn't seen his mom in a while. His mom got deported. I knew things were going too good when he was like, oh, I'm gonna go on a trip with Michael back to Colombia. I was like, okay, bitch, you're dead. Like,
oh my god.
The moment he like coughed after dinner, I was like, okay, sayonara.
Does that happen? Like he like
he literally coughed when he was talking to Barb, and I was like, oh, this bitch is dead. No. And like 2 pages later, he died.
I always read at night, so when I read that chapter, I literally had to like put down the book and like go to sleep because I was like too upset to continue reading because it was like so sad. Like that part made me. I like didn't catch the whole cough thing. I thought it was just they were putting that in because they wanted to kind of show that like Barb was like really angry at him because it was like he was coughing, and then kind of a freak out type of thing for to make that. This doesn't make sense. I don't know if that came through. Yeah, like, so then when it just like abruptly happens where he like dies, I was just so sad because I was like, he finally was happy and so he's like back with Michael. He's gonna go see his mom, and then he doesn't even get to say like goodbye to his parents before he dies because it was so abrupt.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna try and find where he coughs. Okay, so like Poe is cooking dinner, blah blah blah. They have like a nice birthday dinner for Will, which is like their second date and everything. And then this. Okay, you're not kids anymore, Poe. Barb shouts, stopping him mid sentence. We were careful, Barb. He says, shaking his head, his voice serious. We were safe, just like you taught us to be. He even gestures to the distance we've been keeping from one another, even now. He coughs, a quick, short cough, and then adds, I'm sorry, Barb, but it was fun. When I read that, I was like,
oh,
I know for sure this man is about to die.
Oh my gosh, I never caught that. I was like literally like so surprised when that happened. I don't know.
Literally, like at the end of the page, it's like my eyelids are slowly shutting when an alarm blares over the speaker, jolting me awake. Code blue, all available personnel. I like had no emotional attachments to any.
It was literally so. I remember after like I finished this book last weekend and then I was randomly thinking about it like 2 days later, and then I just sat there and I was like sad again because of it.
See, this is why I need you. You have a heart. I don't.
I mean, to be fair, like you cried over all the right places, so I was very upset, and I haven't cried in a really long time. Is that normal? I don't know.
It's
I
okay.
don't cry.
I took issue with like the ending. It was just too neatly wrapped up. Like, first of all, she went on her whole like, I love life, let's go skating in the middle of like the fucking winter, and then like fell through ice. Okay? Mind you not, she like fell through ice, and Will, who has like B. sepia or whatever the bacteria is, and like he gave her mouth to mouth to resuscitate her if she contracted B. sepia. Like the lungs would go to somebody else. Like, honestly, she didn't get B. sepia, even though he like literally spat into her mouth a bunch of times.
Because they say when he tells them that he gave her mouth to mouth, they were like, if we don't use the lungs now, they would go to waste. So I thought that it was like they had to use it in that moment on her, and there was like it was like either they use it on her or they don't use it. So they were like, let's just do the surgery and then we'll figure it out after. Take a little recap moment.
Because she like literally tries refusing the lungs at the first, right?
And I guess that part was, I don't know, I was gonna say something about that whole scene and then I like forgot what it was. I got the seeing that they wanted to see the lights at first, but then they were like holding hands, which is like less than 5 feet. They get within 5 feet and then they spread apart to I guess 5 feet, but they're still holding hands. They're ice skating, and I don't think that they would be like 5 feet apart if they were like ice skating and they were just like, you know, dancing around. I feel like it was like reckless to a level that I don't think Stella would have been reckless to. And oh, I remember what I was saying. Why would she sit there and be like, in like a split second, be like, no, I'm gonna just not get these lungs because I want to be doing this instead of getting new lungs, when it's like she knows that can't last, because it's like they can't just stay on the ice dancing there forever. So that whole part just confused me because I was like, why wouldn't you want new lungs? That was like the one part that literally made no sense to me at all. Like Abby wanted her to have new lungs. Before Abby died, she wanted to be able to like explore the world with her and all of that stuff.
I mean, she still wouldn't be able to be around
Will. But I guess it was just in that moment, she was like, okay, I'm gonna die anyways, so I can do this and be within 6 feet of him. But if I got these new lungs, then I would be obligated to be away from him, because it's like, it's not like I'm about to die. I mean, if nothing else, perhaps this is my viewpoint, having never dated someone, but like, isn't she like 17?
She's like still in high school.
Like, I just can't imagine meeting someone for like a month and being like, yeah, I'm going to give up new lungs for this person that I've known for a month.
She's literally trying to give up her future for this man.
Yeah.
On top of that, she hated him for like the beginning part too.
I feel like maybe we're not understanding this because we like don't.
We're too single for this.
Just too single to discuss this. We're just sitting here like, you know, logically.
I remember when you finished the book, you were like, oh my gosh, that was so bittersweet. And I was like, child, I felt nothing.
I literally texted you right after I finished it, and I was like, oh my gosh, the ending was like so bittersweet. And it was, Will doesn't have healthy lungs, but he's still like able to do what he wants to do. And then it's like Stella has healthy lungs and she's going to visit the places that she wanted to visit with Abby, but with her friends. So it's like they both end up getting what they want, and they also get to see each other again. But it's like at the same time,
he's dying.
Yeah, and it's like you also don't really know what's gonna happen between them after the book ends where it does, because technically she's still not supposed to be within 6 feet of him. So it's like she has everything she wants
except him.
Yeah. You're like, no.
If it's the right person at the wrong time, then it's the wrong person.
If it's
You know how you have the right person, wrong time? Well, then in the end, it's the wrong person. If your timeline's
yeah,
up, then he's not meant to be.
Yeah.
She just needs to get over that.
their timelines would never technically align. They never did.
He's literally like dying.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to see the world basically before he dies. There's no hope for him essentially.
Yeah, because they don't have like the drug didn't work for him. The fictional drug that they created for Cassia.
That was so sad though. Like I knew they weren't gonna get a happy ending. I knew it would be a bittersweet ending. I feel like this type of book always has a bittersweet ending, you know? It made me sad. I thought it was a good book after you get past the classic trope thing in the beginning.
No, when she started coding, I was like,
When she started coding,
I was like, hold your horse.
you got flashbacks to you taking it.
Freshman year? No, never again. We'll never code.
Oh my gosh, coding is fun though.
That's because you want to do it as you're living. I feel
I
like
don't think you graded.
this in the video because it's no longer talking about the book.
Bye, friends.
Okay, bye. Oh, I wouldn't recommend the book, but I think she might.
I would recommend it. It's worth just like taking some time to read. It's pretty short too, so not the best book ever, but still worth
Like
reading.
200 something pages. It's a quick read.
Yeah.
Maybe watch the movie instead. Okay, bye. See you next time.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like this lip plumper is slightly working because like when I smile, you can't see as much of my gum, so I feel like that means something. You're the one who just told me I read YA. I wouldn't even know what that is. Okay, I
It's
rated
young
it.
adult.
Oh. Why do I not know how to answer the question, did you like the book? Okay, why did I take off the star? I literally just like felt like doing that. There's something in my teeth. No, that's just my gums. Cool.
Post-death.
Made me so sad.
He just like died. And I was like, okay, like peace out, man.
No, Hannah! I feel like there's gonna be so many like just like bloopers in this part of the video. Yeah, I like just
I went to homecoming freshman year just so I could watch you perform, and I ended up studying for a biology oral test. So we were
really gave up her Friday night studying to enjoy some quality time with her friends. It was a really big sacrifice she made there.